see your energy. And I'm waiting on your frequency to rise. Before you interact with me, before you collab with me, or try, better get up on your frequency.
And sound rolling.
Sound rolling, here we are.
Sound for sure rolling on this one.
Good, yeah. Oh, hey, everybody. Something cool happened. We're at a different place in our home, so this might be throwing you off a little bit.
Okay. I forgot to hit record on the proper audio.
That's so nice that you're being honest. We can just lie to them.
Nah. This is a podcast about truth and honor.
I was just going to say we had technical difficulties.
I forgot to hit the record. You can see it. So you'll be watching. Okay, it's really funny, actually. Once I realized it, I was like, I wonder if this is recording. And I look over and I make the snap judgment to forgive myself instantly.
Yeah, good.
That's the good news.
That is good.
Because Brad's energy is just so, like, I have an infectious, positive energy. He has mastered it. He is like, Brad is such a wonderfully positive and exciting guy. And
we're meeting a lot of like really like big,
Yeah.
strong men that have kind eyes.
interesting. Cool set. I like the way you put that. You're right. Look, I'm trying to figure out stuff with the sound right now. It's not doing me too many favors.
Right.
So go ahead.
So
and
our
say
next-
what you want to say before I fucking throw something.
Okay. Our next guest is Brad Stewart, who is a really great founder of startups. He is head of commercialization at Vortex. And he's an all-around really amazing dude. So for the next 5 minutes, you're going to have a little bit shitty audio, but you'll get back to this good audio after that. Enjoy the episode.
Thank you for understanding. You're the best audience out there. I love you guys. Enjoy. The whole thing is such a banger. It was such a good, the words that were being said, we didn't want to cut them. So,
no, we didn't. Yeah, in the first 5 minutes, we were thinking about cutting it. In the first 5 minutes, I was like, these are two really great stories right off the top, and I don't want to lose that. So
okay, I love you guys.
Okay,
Have a good
thanks.
episode. Bye.
Disciplined stoners. What's your discipline? You a stoner? That's cool. So are we.
I'm high a lot. It's weird to finally say that with pride. I'm high a lot. Being high has helped me with my anxiety. It's helped my social skills.
Love and light. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners Podcast with your host Ellevan,
And my name is Winnie.
and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners. I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And today, this is a fun one.
This is a great guest.
This is good energy in the house.
We actually just met for the first time in person now.
One of
which
those
is
wild
bizarre.
things. We feel like we've been friends already for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about to eat his salmon, but introduce him up. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks guys.
How are you?
Really good.
Thank you for
Yeah,
joining
you guys
us.
are really wonderful.
You're the sweetest.
We started
Seriously.
chatting right away, but we met. Well, we're connected through Derek. Shout out proper. And I got to accept an award on behalf of Vortex, which you are the head of communications for.
Yeah. Commercialization.
Commercialization
Yeah.
for.
And communications.
And communications.
And photography. And videography. And sales and marketing. Everything.
You do. You're a multifaceted creator within the company.
Yeah, everything. Everything that comes to
I call you guys killers.
all the commercialization. Yeah.
So everything that goes to market. So do you have like a background in marketing, or or are you just a talented guy who knows the right people? What happened?
Background's in philosophy. So.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. No, background is, it's startups really, right? So, small business entrepreneur, tech entrepreneur. I owned a wine agency for a while.
Wine?
Yep.
There's
I was a sommelier for
No
a
way.
few years.
What?
Yeah.
Dude.
That's
Hey,
another.
I'm
I've got so many
You don't just become a
chapters.
sommelier.
Yeah. Well, I put myself through university by working in restaurants, right? So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you got so familiar with wine.
Yeah.
And you got a taste for connoisseurism.
Yeah.
in learning about the grapes, the regions, the vintage,
Yeah.
why it turns a
The
certain color.
prohibition, everything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude.
Same,
Yeah.
is there parallels with weed?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's so similar.
Oh yeah. I've got a good story for you.
Please.
Yeah. So prohibition in the United States, California. There's a wine still today called Black Chicken Zinfandel, right? And the reason it's called Black Chicken Zinfandel is because during Prohibition, there was like people that sold chickens at the market, right? And people would walk up and say, "Can you give me a chicken?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, okay, here's a chicken." It's like, and then he'd be like, look both ways and like, "Can I have a black chicken?" Right? And then that's when they'd give you the bottle of wine under the table, right?
Oh,
You know, so-
black chicken.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're
It
bottled
was like
red wine.
code. It was code.
Oh my god,
Right?
that's gangster shit.
Yeah, yeah. So like, there's a deep history of this type of thing that we're sort of all going through, going back to like, you know, in the 1920s and everything else. So
The
yeah,
prohibition
Whoa.
aligns with cannabis and the way that the legacy market still operated.
yeah,
You
yeah, exactly.
can't
And then
separate people.
yeah, totally. And so part of my journey into cannabis was based on my prehistory in wine, right?
Of course.
So I'd been a wine importer for 4 or 5 years,
Okay.
and we went into tech and a bunch of other stuff. You know, started with the food day stuff, and when cannabis came around the corner, it was just like, I have to check this out. You know?
Obvious. So
Yeah.
well, you just mentioned something called Food Day.
Yeah.
That's one of the things when he mentions Brad is a founder of Endeavors. This is one of the things that you've started. Tell us about
Yeah.
that. That's super exciting.
Yeah, so that's like less of my major business career, but it's
Okay.
kind of an interesting thing. Like to me, it's proof that like the little people, right, can start big things, right?
Mm.
And this goes back to my mom. So my mom, through the 70s and 80s, was like a culinary activist, right?
Okay.
And
Wow.
as a family, we traveled all over Canada. We take whatever vehicle was able to stay on the road, and we just drive, right?
Love
BC, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, whatever, as a family.
that. Wow.
And there was that, plus her sort of obsession with discovering all these cool little culinary regions in Canada. Right?
Totally. Like
the-
go to Newfoundland, they use savory.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't know about that.
yeah, exactly. And there's hundreds of stories like that across
Yeah.
Canada, right? And this is where I fell in love with Quebec. Quebec's where I was like, 5 hours ago.
Amazing, yeah.
Before driving here,
Cool.
she was just passionate about food and realized there was a distinctly Canadian food culture, right?
Cool.
And we all learned that through kitchen and through experiencing the travel and everything else. And eventually, this is really, it took an interesting turn. So she wrote 15 books or something like this, for cookbook type stuff.
Wow.
And then early 2000s, do you remember the BSE crisis? The
No.
bovine, the mad cow disease crisis.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2002. This was a big deal. So
Yeah, I do remember that. Mad
Canada,
cow disease.
Yeah, so Canada was banned from exporting beef.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and this is like a multi-$100 million problem for Canada,
Fuck.
right? It was big. It was really big. It was completely devastating, right? And she started this thing called the world's longest barbecue. So it's 2002-ish, 2003, 2003. And what it was before social media, right? She started kind of a blog and sort of invited people to just celebrate Canadian beef. Just, hey, Canadians, let's cook beef, because, the Americans aren't eating it right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's been banned, I believe, from China as well. So we're not exporting it. So what are we going to do?
Oh, yeah.
And she sort of gathered the country together to celebrate Canadian beef, right? Alberta beef, etc. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's how that started. And
Alberta
kept doing
has great
it.
beef.
Oh yeah, amazing, grass fed. And then a few years later, the time had come to change it, right? The time had come to sort of do something different, right?
Because the thing was over. There was no more resistance.
Yeah, that was over, and it was just, it's hard to start something that continues to grow and build. Anything has its day, right?
For sure.
And I was sitting with her at one point in 2006, 2007, and I was like, yeah, Mom, what's your dream? Like, what is your dream? Like, what ultimately do you want? Right?
That's a beautiful
What are you
question.
trying to get to? And she's like, I think Canada should have a national food holiday, right? And I was like, well, why don't you rebrand it? Like, why don't you call it Food Day, right?
Whoa.
And, Mom, look, like foodday.ca is available, right? And like, why don't you just do that, right?
Brilliant.
Talked a little bit more, and we're like, and this was when social media started happening for small businesses, right? And like restaurants were starting to get these social media followings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't you call restaurants and get them involved rather than make it this thing where you have to, get all the Canadians to go online and everything else. And
Brilliant.
and she, okay, let's give it a shot. She phoned me a week later and she said, this is like falling off a horse. Like anyone she called, these restaurants were like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh my
So within
gosh.
months, like she's just a grinder. Again, this back to this.
Shout out.
Yeah.
What's your mom's name?
Anita Stewart.
Anita Stewart. What's up? Congratulations. Bravo.
Yeah. And she, total grinder. She's like hundreds of restaurants signed up.
Wow.
Right, across the country, right? And again, these are the days when restaurants like barely had websites and stuff.
Right.
And we put together this
Yeah.
directory, the Food Day directory of restaurants.
Cool.
At one point, we were getting like thousands of hits based on the fact that people were looking to reserve at a restaurant in Newfoundland, and they didn't have a website, so they ended up on our website to find the address.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, brilliant.
So this took off.
You're
This
giving data.
Yeah, exactly. So this took off, and over the course of she ended up with the honor, what's it called? Honor of Canada, the Order of Canada. She ended up with the Order of Canada in about 2012, 2013. Okay.
Anita.
Yeah.
What is the
What?
Order
Yeah.
of Canada?
Order of Canada is
like
basically the biggest sort of recognition that you can get from the Governor General of Canada of
Amazing.
having done something to support Canadians.
Oh.
Right? Yeah.
Anita. Let's go.
Yeah.
Congrats.
That's
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
really.
So like I'd say founder in tiny little scare quotes, right? Like
Right.
I co-founder. I mean, I helped.
you brought it together
We brought it
without you
together.
saying that,
Well, we
That's cool.
she was the grinder. Anyways, well, she passed away, so that's this is yeah. This was 2020. This is sort of part of my journey. COVID and startups and everything else, lots of fun. But here's the thing. This is the crazy thing. This is why this is so massively relevant today. She got a lot of supporters across Canada, MPs, senators, restaurateurs, whatever. And last year, I've got to get the dates right, May, Senator Rob Black went to the Senate and said, look, why don't we make this particular day an official day in Canada? Okay, this is the Saturday of the August long weekend. And the Senate unanimously passed that through Senate quickly. And then the House, so that goes from the Senate to the House, so that all the MPs then have to vote on it, and it has to go through 3 readings, okay?
Wow.
It went through 3 readings and passed in the House unanimously
Wow.
this past fall. Like, I don't know how often that happens.
Oh, that's
Right?
so beautiful.
Yeah.
But you think about it, like NDP, Conservatives, Bloc,
Wow.
Green, Liberal, all completely said,
'Cause it's
okay, we've got to do this.
Because
right?
it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's
so,
beautiful.
So we're going to have a day in Canada to celebrate food come this August. I think it's going to be August 5th.
Oh,
So that's the story. That's the one little micro part of the story of Food Day Canada. Yeah.
I
That's so
love
Yeah.
that. So August 5th
Yep.
is Food Day.
Well, that's the Saturday of the August long weekend.
Oh, so the first weekend in August.
Yeah, it's the August that long weekend, the civic holiday,
Yeah.
which falls on a Monday usually. So whatever that weekend is, from here on in, that Saturday's the day we can say, look, Canadian food, right?
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
on
Wow.
that, we have poutine, obviously.
Yeah.
Canadian food is bacony.
Tortillere.
What is it?
Tortillere. Well, here's the thing. So this
Nanaimo bars?
Nanaimo bars? Okay, but here's the thing. So it's a misnomer to say, like, this is my theory anyways, okay? I think it's a misnomer to say there's
Same
a
for
Canadian
American
food,
foods.
right? Okay.
Well, there's many, yeah.
There's many, because most food cultures that come to an agreement on a particular food usually come to that through scarcity, right? So, the places that have that real like pasta or pierogies,
Yes.
or
that's
sauerkraut,
what they
that's all we had, right?
Yeah.
It's forever going to be different in Canada,
And well,
like West Coast salmon, right?
yeah, it's true.
And
And mussels. And
mussels,
yeah. Like that's very BC.
Yeah.
In Nova Scotia, they perfected the donair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
love
know,
the
they
donair.
really
yeah,
rep
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
the Nova Scotia donair. Like
Yeah.
there's a chain like
Oh,
here
cool.
that's
Yeah.
like rep like these are Nova Scotian donairs.
Yeah.
Oh.
And in Ottawa, it's the shawarma. Okay.
Is that it happened there?
Yeah, totally. Big
Okay.
shawarma, crazy. And again, each story, what makes each of these stories similar across the country is that there's usually a particular group coming from somewhere
Yeah.
that have come together. In the case of Ottawa, it was a Lebanese community,
Yeah.
right?
Cool.
So the Lebanese community has come to Ottawa and set up roots, created strong community ties.
Yeah.
And literally, there's more shawarmas than Tim Hortons.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's and you're gonna
I
find that
love
everywhere,
shawarma.
right? You're gonna find those regional, sort
Yeah.
of regionally diverse, specific
Honestly, there is
stories everywhere across Canada.
There is
Yeah.
some of the best sushi chefs and sushi restaurants in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vancouver,
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
like we're going back to Vancouver for Albemarle for me and see her grandpa in BC and stuff, and that's like on our list.
Yeah.
It's actually, and it's a small to go place called Tokyo Joe's, right?
Bless
Tokyo
it.
Joe's.
Tokyo
Yeah,
Joe's.
yeah.
Oh my
Where is
god.
it? Where is it? Commercial
You know,
or?
No, it's right
no,
downtown
it's
near Burrard.
And there's a couple places that you have to mention, like Tsunami on Robson, like that are more
Yeah.
the dining thing. But this place is to go.
So good,
And
right?
it's so fresh.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
And
good.
it's even just like a Monday to Friday like work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
spot.
It's not
You know,
open
it's a lunch
at
spot.
night.
Yeah.
It's open in the day. So,
So good.
yeah, to your point, there's very, very eclectic things, and that only furthers and deepens the connection between Canada and it's like immigrants. Like
Yeah,
it's like the
big time.
enriching culture that happens
Yeah.
when we all work together.
Yeah.
Like even like Hakka food.
What's Hakka food?
Hakka is a mix of Indian and Chinese, I think, or
Okay.
Indian and
I don't know.
anyway,
but
it's so cool.
Yeah.
And like the best ones happened here
Yeah.
in Mississauga or Brampton.
There's
Yeah.
also a lot. Because I had a Dutch restaurant that closed down a couple years ago, but I
Yeah.
loved it so much. But there's like some Dutch Indonesian combos going on in Toronto that
Yeah,
are pretty
that's
sick.
because of the Dutch Indonesian connection, right?
Yeah.
So you would notice this trend having come from Netherlands, right? Like, do you notice this a little bit more coming from that Netherlands?
No, I wasn't privy to the Dutch Indonesian until I moved to Toronto.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I don't know much of my Dutch heritage or history.
Yeah, yeah.
I know some of it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But also,
no.
like you grew
Oh
up
yeah,
in Alberta
yeah.
too.
The Dutch, East Timorese, the Dutch, some of the fighting that happened down
Yeah.
there. It's crazy.
Yeah, but they
Also-
love Canadians.
Oh, the Dutch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The
Yep.
Dutch,
Yep.
they love it.
Yeah. My piano teacher was Dutch.
Yeah.
And she huge gratitude towards Canada, because we
Yeah.
were some of the front lines for the
Right.
for winning the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of delicious food,
So guys are moving quick.
Oh yeah.
look what we have here.
Okay, yeah. Tell us about this. Speaking
This
of
is
food,
very
across
exciting.
Canada, this
Yeah.
you caught this guy or what?
Yeah, I caught that
It's
guy.
amazing.
Yeah, so this is canned smoked salmon. Something everyone should try. It's amazing. So
can't wait.
I caught this with my brother Mark. So my brother Mark's a fishing guide.
Okay.
So
In
much
BC.
in our family comes back to food.
I love that.
Right? Mark started living on Quadra Island and Campbell River area, so that's about halfway up Vancouver Island.
Quadra.
When he was basically a teenager, he started guiding there when he was like 16 years old.
No way.
So he's been guiding there for 30 years.
So he knows that land so well.
Yeah.
And that's the type of guide you want.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
That's
they
fuck.
call him Dr. Hook.
No way. Wow, doctor.
Shout out Dr. Hook.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so good.
So this particular can comes from a salmon that was caught at a place called Green Can. You'll see it says Green Can on there.
Yep.
And that's a green lighthouse buoy sort of in the middle of the ocean off the coast of Quadra Island. And yeah, we then took it to the cannery and smoked it and canned it. So it's amazing. Like
How many cans did you get?
Like 60.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't. I'll bring you more. I'll bring
Oh
you
my
more.
gosh, no, you gave us 1 out of 60. Are you kidding me? That's beautiful.
Yeah, I won't be able to eat 60. So
I think I could.
yeah, you might be able
go
to.
for
Yeah,
60.
yeah.
Yeah, I love fish.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we'll rock that, no problem.
In Holland, at least the last time I went there, which is now over, I think, 15 years, but they have herring carts
Yeah.
on the street.
Herring carts.
Yeah, so it's
Interesting.
like a hot dog cart except
Okay.
a herring cart.
Okay.
Yeah, and you get it by the tail, and it comes with onions, like fresh white cut onions,
Yeah.
and you just eat it straight up.
Yeah. So like fork, obviously.
No, you go like,
Like head is the head on and stuff.
oh no, the
okay,
head's
okay.
off, but
Yeah.
it's filleted and
Yeah.
it's raw.
Yeah. Bones and everything.
No, it's filleted.
Okay,
It doesn't have
completely
bones.
filleted. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
You
Cool.
Yeah,
get
you
such-
might get like one of those little guy bones sometimes
Yeah.
in there that you have to pick out, but oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
delicious.
The bones are in this, so it's more nutritious, more flavorful.
Yeah.
Right? But you can chew them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when
Awesome.
they're canned like that.
I love. I don't know if I've chewed salmon bone before, but I've chewed something that wasn't like the flesh, and I thought it was delicious.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good. When it's smoked too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no pun intended, right?
Bro, I got the hash in here.
Oh, do you?
This is
Nice,
the Vortex
nice.
hash.
You liking it?
So good.
Did you
Yeah.
put any of these in here too?
I did.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
put-
what did you
So
have
you
going
brought
on
us
here?
some beautiful gifts, some things.
Mhm.
CBG.
Yep.
This is the joy one.
Yeah, CBG is really interesting. So, so the genetics on this particular, this is hemp technically, right?
Cool.
So there's no THC, like literally less than 0.01% THC.
Cool.
So it's then classified as industrial hemp, right?
Wow.
And it contains about 12% CBG, right? The
That's significant.
Yeah, it's really high. It's
Yeah.
really, really high. If you see little white stuff on it, white crystals, that's actually the CBG, right?
Cool. I do.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
now the way CBG plays on you is they call it. There's something called anandamide, ANANDAMIDE, right?
Okay.
And that is a chemical substance that binds to your CB1 receptor, right? The same way THC does.
Okay.
Okay. And it has some play with anandamide, right? Which is also known as the bliss molecule or the joy molecule.
So cool.
So yeah, the feeling you get, it's a really interesting feeling. So that on its own, without any THC or anything, just kind of makes you feel like nothingness. Like it's just literally like no anxiety, no angst,
Beautiful.
right?
Beautiful.
It's really interesting.
Like a 0 dB.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if you blend it with THC, it's reported to bring down those levels of potential anxiety that are sometimes associated with THC.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So-
I like that.
Now, if you get into the really funky stuff, and this is where cannabis is so exciting, University of Oregon, recent research, they're using CBG, and they're looking at shrinking cancer cells. I believe this has happened with human
Yes.
trials as well.
Yes.
There's some really crazy stuff, some
Smoking
really
this
intense
will
stuff. So
make
again,
sure.
like I don't want to say too much, without the internet in front of me, whatever.
Yeah.
And our memories aren't
I'll
always
go
the
with
greatest.
that. I'll believe that.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some potential, like really potentially powerful medicinal properties with CBG based. Yeah.
That's
compositions.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you're doing. That's what we're doing here. It is a medicine. And we
Yeah.
love that.
What
Yeah.
is your relationship with cannabis like?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, pre-wine, academic life, right? I was a social philosopher. Like I was addicted to philosophy, right?
Yeah.
So I took 28 philosophy courses in my undergrad, right?
Sick.
And then 6 in my master's, and it was just social philosophy, like studying people, studying ideas, politics, all that kind of stuff, right?
Expanding your conceptual mind.
Yeah, and trying to understand sort of the history of thought through human times, going back to like the Taoists, and
Yes.
back to African philosophy, Chinese philosophy, Indian philosophy, Greek philosophy, right? And and for some reason, cannabis always stood out as something that's like a solid example of a collective, sort of a collective, illusion or something. Like just, like our society is completely manipulated by, and again, it's kind of almost hard to believe, right? Like Richard Nixon, right, signed a document, right? Okay. And everything that's happening based on the DEA and drug enforcement and jail time and all this crazy stuff happened from that one stroke of a pen, right? In 1971, I believe, right? Yeah. As a reaction to
the war on drugs.
The war on drugs. I mean, it literally was. He put
Justifying
all that in force.
Locking up a certain demographic of people.
Yeah, yeah, and the flak jackets and the SWAT teams and all that stuff. Like that whole thing came about from that administration's declarations and Schedule 1, right?
What were they so scared about? Like what did it do for people? What were they so scared about?
Well, I think it was political. I think it was like ideologically driven, politically driven. In order to possess cannabis, okay, in the United States, it was called something like the Marijuana Tax Act. You had to have a stamp to be able to show that you're allowed to possess it. Something along these lines, right?
Have you tried these, Win?
No, I haven't.
You want to try one?
No. Yeah.
You want to split one?
Sure. Let's try one.
So what happened was, said famous guy, he got arrested, okay? And he got arrested sort of intentionally in order to show that it was these laws were unconstitutional, okay? The law saying, you need a stamp to possess marijuana, because the problem is,
how do you attain a stamp?
You have to admit that you possess it, right? So it's self-incriminating.
Oh,
right?
fuck.
Yeah. So the Supreme Court threw out that tax act. Okay. So that was a huge victory. And that was like a victory for the hippies, right?
Yeah.
More or less, right?
We can have grass, man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So hello, little one. Hey, what's your dog's name again?
Ralphie.
Can he come up?
Yeah.
Come on.
For sure.
Come on, Ralph. Anyways. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, what a cutie. Anyways, politically motivated, he's like, okay, fine. If you're going to act that way, we're going to make everything illegal. We're going to put together the Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, give them huge powers, okay? And we're going to make cannabis Schedule 1. Schedule 1 meaning, okay, it has no benefit.
Dangerous.
And yeah, it's bad for you, and it has no
Ridiculous.
Potential benefit.
Ridiculous.
Even though that administration's research showed that it was potentially beneficial. So it's Schedule 1, cocaine Schedule 2, right? As an example, right? And it's just completely absurd. So
it is. You're right.
all of the stigma that comes with it is based on this, this legislation, right?
Yeah.
And all the criminalization and everything else. So how can something, and from Nixon, right? A guy that he didn't get impeached, but he was almost impeached, right? Watergate. So a completely discredited president.
Yeah, what happened at Watergate again?
Yeah,
Briefly?
Watergate was, I don't remember the exact history of it, but basically he ended up getting to the point where he was going to be impeached, right? And then stepped down, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
that was like I think I'm going to take him from you.
Oh, he's a cutie.
There we go.
So we have this situation where a completely discredited public figure signed a document into law, and we've just been rolling with that ever since.
Well, that's the issue
so
with
crazy.
compliancy that I have. It's like you're not going to look into what's happening just because someone in a perceivable higher position than you is currently looking at that.
Yeah.
Like that, you're going to forfeit your right to think because of like this system that's supposed to have your best interests at heart, but like has proven time and time again to have its own agenda. Like since when has any president or person in political stature, when have they been thoroughly ever really vetted? They haven't. It's just been people, I feel, don't feel they have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like they're kind of just like powerless.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
what's the state of humans? How are we gonna wake people up, Brad?
Yeah.
You are so
Well-
turned on. Your light is so on. You're so living this life.
Yeah.
You have a gift
Yeah.
to think well.
Education.
How does
just-
this happen? How does everyone get this?
Well, there's been so many social civil rights movements that have occurred in our lifetime,
Yeah.
right? And like I think of the LBGT movement
Yeah.
in, say, the 80s, right? I mean, there's been different movements that have occurred. But I mean, I think of growing up in a small town, right? And it was just this terrible, awful, horrible situation where people were like telling, you know, there was arguments in churches. Like,
Oh.
I'm not a religious person, but
Bet.
we went to the United Church.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, there was an argument as to whether or not these people, like as if they're
Oh.
different,
Right.
should be allowed to go to church or participate
Well,
in
that's
society,
the issue.
right?
Anytime you peg a group of people for anything and declassifying them or changing their allowedness to
Yeah.
participate in the thing that we all thirst for, which is community, you
Yeah.
know, and being seen and being felt and heard, that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Like classifying one group of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
That's-
totally.
Yeah.
Abstract generalization, right?
Yeah.
But what eventually happens is the human comes into it, the individualism comes into it, and so
Yes.
so the woman from church says to someone, "Wow, they shouldn't be allowed," blah blah blah, and then another person comes along and says, "Well, I know one of them." You know?
Right.
And I actually, you know, from a lived human experience, can tell you they're not so bad. You know, they are not
Yes.
so bad, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, the same thing's going to happen with cannabis, and I'm finding that's happening right now.
1000%.
So for me, like, you know, typical hockey dad living in a rural region, right? It's getting to the point now where people aren't looking at me sideways. They're asking, like,
That's
I
cool.
hear
Dope.
these chocolates can help you sleep. Do you know anything
Yeah.
about it? Whatever, right?
You're
And
totally
those
right.
conversations
It's
are happening.
happening.
Yeah.
Right?
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% that's
over
happening.
there.
So many people have asked me about shit, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm so glad that I can be that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Fuck.
that's largely why I'm talking about you guys being so wonderful. Like, seriously,
Thank
like
you,
this
man.
is, you're putting yourselves out there in a way, like you're putting yourselves out there in a big way, but
Thank you.
in a way where it shouldn't in any ways be big, right? Like,
Thank you.
You're right.
Agreed.
It should just like, this shouldn't be
Should just
something
be
that we should be
already.
talking, like,
should just not even
I
be
know.
this rare.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah,
It's
like-
but thank you. I appreciate you.
I think I take the analogy of food often, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and okay, so I see cannabis prohibition, anti-cannabis driven ideologies, and it's
Yeah.
very similar to LGBT type stuff, right? As in, again,
Freedom.
people talking about right and wrong where there is no right and wrong.
Yeah.
Like, there just isn't. I think about food as the analogy. It's like, we don't talk about that. Like, we don't talk about what types of food we eat as if there's any moral,
Right.
That's interesting.
issue around it, right?
That's fucking
Yeah.
true.
It's like, you don't. It's like, do you eat relish? So are you a relishexual? Like, no, it's just, you don't talk about it. It's like, it doesn't matter.
And
Like,
are you an anti-relish?
Are you
an
anti-relish?
anti-relisher?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There are some anti-cilantro-ers, and I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I know. Cilantro is one of those polarizing things.
You have to become a little bit more aware to people's sensitivities in the fact that they taste like soap. So
Oh, yeah.
you'll get there eventually.
Nice. Yes, compassion.
Yeah.
It tastes like soap. That's right.
Yes, for some people.
No, the
And-
terp of the brain. Has,
know.
Yeah, I
too.
can actually, yeah.
I can get
Is this
that.
okay? Are you okay with
Oh,
it?
great, yeah,
Okay,
it's
cool. I
awesome.
just want to make sure that you're
Yeah,
okay
and
with it.
actually, so some people don't like the smell of cannabis, and like the
Right.
people that don't really don't like it. But it's like some people don't like the smell of certain foods either. But it's like there's nothing moral about that. This is just an aesthetic preference. Just like sexuality is an aesthetic preference. It's something that just doesn't matter morally, right?
Right.
So
Right.
again, we'll get there eventually. It's going to be obvious who's on the right and wrong side of history, right?
That's what's up.
But fascinating at the same time that something that's so apparently not moral at all is considered to be so morally problematic. Like, I find it really interesting, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, food choices lead into lifestyle and health, and it's such an emotional trigger, food choices for people, that if you see your friend doing heroin, you're like, that's not cool, bro. Maybe you want to double check that. But if you see your homie ordering McDonald's every day, you'd never be like, hey, man, like, how are you? Like, you know, I think food plays a huge role, and also, like, not bringing up recent events, but like the whole health or medical conversation, and then there's still no conversation. Like, everyone was at risk who was overweight, and now still we've gone back to just like, no problem. Like, eat processed cheese. Like
I don't think we've gone back.
Well, okay, good, because I'm feeling like it's like food is an issue in plain sight. Yeah. And it's because I'm obsessed with cooking. I love it. Nice. I absolutely am obsessed with it. I know that, like, some people preparing their own food, like, intimidates or scares them. And that's, like, an element of like, self-exploration. That's I think, so, like, food is such a beautiful way to explore your preferences, your tastes. Like, I think it's totally divine subject. Yeah. And it's what's your, linked to your personal health.
What's your favorite thing to cook? Do you have, like, what type of stuff do you like cooking?
I grew up Italian between two, like, a mixed breed,
oh my God,
a half breed Italian. Yeah. In between two, my parents were divorced and then went into two other Italian families. Wow. So I was always in between, picking up the little things I liked. Yeah. And it all led to my favorite thing I made is just a red sauce, like a tomato sauce. So whether it's veggie, today I made one with jalapenos and beets, and rosemary, onions, and just, like, cracked a couple eggs in there.
It was really good.
No way.
I put that on bread. Really good. Yeah, nice.
Italy is the next level. Like, I traveled to Moderna.
You went there.
I went to Moderna.
So
and,
you get
that's unreal,
bro.
Like,
I haven't even been to Italy.
Oh, well, Moderna. This Michela and Roberta Zanetti.
Beautiful.
Zanetti.
No, that was already
I was like,
Zanetti.
Roberta Zanetti.
That was
like,
nice.
No, it's Zanetti, right?
You said the T.
They brought us to their place, and he gave me some of his aceto balsamico, the balsamic vinegar. I was like, whatever, man. Like, I've had vinegar before, whatever. And he's like, no, like, I made the barrels for this when I was 5.
It was probably delicious and thick and sweet. And...
Well, I was 30 years old.
Oh.
He started making this when he was 5 years old with his dad.
That's what there's no bullshit from the rustic. It's like, oh, how did you get this result? Oh, I've fucking been here. Yeah. I've been building it. Yeah. I've been patient. God. That's what it is. And people are just like, this is a miracle. Yeah. No, that's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations.
And then Parmesan, Parmigiano Reggiano. Yeah, that's from Moderna as well. Oh. So you go by the Parmesan factory when you're there. The wheels and Ferrari. I mean, it's an amazing place. I mean, they're just so passionate.
I'm very bold, passionate people. That's what sometimes Winnie thinks I'm yelling or something, but it's like I'm just talking very passionately, very loudly.
It is always when it's something you're passionate about that I think very you're passionate. Yelling. But
you see these guys like get the fucking neck veins from talking about a soccer game. And it's totally. Like, hey, this guy who you're talking about, Francesco, will never hear you. Relax.
That's awesome. That's why these things make for a good sort of production tool. Yeah. To keep Joe Rogan says it's like to stop people from talking over each other. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you can hear it get mumbled.
Yeah. We had one guest not wear the headphones, and you could just feel the lack of certainty of involvement in sometimes in a certain period, because without these on, you almost don't buy into this dimension. That you guys are watching. We're plugged into like the final result almost as it goes. So
it's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
You're a fascinating character. I know.
Do you find startups, or do startups find you?
Oh yeah. I don't know. Cool. No. Yeah. Okay. It's kind of both, cool, right? So it's like the Tao. It's like the both, right?
Yeah. Right? Totally.
My philosophy in life, if I have one, is something along the lines of like that whole thing about living in a simulation, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's like you play with the idea of that once in a while, right? And so the best way for me to describe how I live my life is like finding Easter eggs. Like I can choose to pick it up, or not. But I find every time I pick up these Easter eggs, I'll find it. I'll start finding more and more, and I'll find another one. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's kind of how I live my life, right? And
So
it's like
you're following the
That's
intuitive
beautiful.
symbols almost of your life as you go.
exactly, yeah.
Do
yeah,
you know
Yeah.
Beautiful.
when you find one, and are you at a point where you still choose to put them down sometimes and like walk away from them?
No.
Yes.
Usually I'm just like, oh yeah, they keep going, right?
You have to follow them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Like
you
just
have to follow them.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
your new work.
What does
Like,
that feel
fuck
like
everything.
in your body? Is there something where you know that
Yeah.
it's an Easter egg?
Oh, totally, 100%. You just know that you're experiencing something that you have to continue following.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, and that's like Vortex is one example of that. And I'll tell you, like it sounds so weird, but it's like I live in Quebec, right? Like I'm not from there, right? I don't speak much French. It's like okay at French, but like
Wow.
I just ended up there. There's so many actually Quebec stories I can tell you, but just kept following. Like I was in Calgary, and then I was like, maybe I could check out a place that has good nature around it, and I was like in beautiful architecture. So we go to Ottawa, and I ended up in Ottawa. I'm like, and I visited the Gatineau Hills north of Ottawa, and I was like, a week later we bought a house because like it's just so beautiful. And I was like,
shit.
because it's just
Whoa.
like wow, like this place is like a mount, like we live in the mountains, but we're only 10 minutes from downtown, right?
Holy.
It's just like obvious, right? And then we
Obvious?
we go
Duh.
visit the Charlevoix, right? Which I was like, I've been there once, so I'm gonna go check it out. We went and checked it out and brought my kids, and my kids were like, "Can we come back?" So we kept going back, and it was like
That's
fell in love
fucking
with this
cute.
region, right?
I love
Yeah,
that.
and then it turns out, like I did the genetic thing, you know, you test your genetics, and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
And it's like
23.
it turns out you're from the Charlevoix.
Oh
Like, I'm like,
Stop.
oh wow, that is really interesting. You know,
No
like
way.
yeah, like that's where my
What?
I have this incredibly tight and very, huge population of people with the same genetics as me in that region, right?
Whoa.
So it's like, so you just kind of keep following things. So
That's so much fun.
Vortex in Quebec, right?
Yeah.
I got to really love the people of Quebec. I got to really love the joie de vivre, right? This just joy in living, right?
I always try to remember that term.
Yeah, joie de vivre. Yeah, yeah. And Italian, I saw that a lot in Italy as well, right? And the love of food, and like, you could be literally in a countryside place in a little trailer, like a double wide, eating the most beautiful food.
That's it.
Just passion, family, togetherness, right?
That's
It's
it.
all amazing.
That's all you need. And
Yeah.
they live long.
Yeah.
And they drink like a glass of wine and a
Yep.
couple of espressos a day and just
Yep.
hang out together.
Yeah.
That's California as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, it's so good. But I find that a lot in Quebec as well. I find there's just this love of family and this connection, simplicity, food, and not a lot of affluence either. You'll be in these regions sometimes that are very poor looking, but just socially beautiful, right?
So beautiful.
So Vortex, it's like
Awesome.
Mirabel, rural region, right? Like Holland Marsh around here, just like fields and fields
Wow.
of small farms next to each other, kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's a cannabis facility, so it has that sort of very simple, non-sexy kind of look to it, right? It's like there's all this beautiful stuff coming out of it, but it's like Health Canada walls and security cameras and all that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Go into the lunchroom, right? I'm working there maybe a week,
So
right?
funny.
And it's like I go into the lunchroom, and there's no windows either, right? That's the thing about these facilities.
Industrial
Yeah.
complex.
Yes,
They're
so-
difficult places to work, right?
Sure.
But the lunchroom's there, and I hear singing, and I go in, and Emma, I guess it's her birthday, and some of the other people there have decided to bake her a cake
Cute.
shaped like a soccer ball. Like, this was not easy, right?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, cool.
Like a
it's
ball
lunchtime.
like
Does
that.
Emma
Like,
love
yeah.
soccer?
Emma's into soccer, I guess, right? And they're like, someone recognized that.
She
And,
better be.
yeah, I know. And it was
It's
just
like
like,
a globe.
yeah, like
Wow, that's very
special.
impressive.
Special.
Yeah.
And there's like a small team of people who care about each other and speaking like
That's so nice.
French, and just like, again, like it's a snapshot. I'm like, I have to be here, right? Like I want to be amongst these people, right?
That's so nice.
Yeah.
So
That's
So when you know you found your group of people for that chapter in your life, that is just one of the nicest feelings.
yeah.
When you're locked in with peeps
Yeah.
and ready to get it.
Yeah, again, but you have to sort of pick up that Easter egg and keep going, right?
You follow your feelings.
Yep.
Have you always been
Well,
intuitive?
Feelings for sure play into it, but it's also intellectual, right? It's also like, oh, I understand that these people care about community and they care about these things rather than these things, right? Like, and like I get that, but you also have a feeling associated with it, right?
Head and heart coherency.
Yeah,
So
totally.
good.
Yeah. So.
And that's you've always followed that. That's been your whole tool your whole life.
No, I think I'm old enough now to know that should have been my tool, right? And it's taken confidence and you know,
It does.
the experience. It takes
courage.
experience going down enough wrong paths
Yeah.
to realize, like, you know, like you might as well be on a path that is where there is that coherence, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that congruity, right?
Yeah,
So-
when you're having a little discussion with nature, with the universe, with God, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
Oh, by the way, you've got a little fluff here. I'm going to take it off.
Thank you.
Sorry.
You're
Yeah.
a prince and a gentleman. Thank you.
I think I forgot what I was gonna ask.
Okay, there's going to
Following
be one of those
intuition.
awkward silences that you talk about being afraid of in the introduction to your podcast.
Exactly. My man
Don't
is
be
out here
afraid.
really listening.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
high.
okay.
I'm high, so it's totally fine.
It's totally
I
good.
still feel it, but I can breathe through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that introduction.
Thank you.
So well done, guys.
Thank
So that's
you.
your
Thank
music?
you.
That's your music?
That's my friend Yannick made that
Okay.
beat. He's a collaborator of mine.
Okay.
And we're on a song Imagination together. He's currently like touring the States. He's in Arizona playing a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
And good buddy of mine, shout out Yannick. He gave me that beat to write a song to. And I mean, I still do have a great song to it. And it's a very positive affirmation song. So it's like, everything is working out for me. I'll show you later. But we put it on one day, and because we took that footage that my friend Paul Ohm shot on this like great, like very expensive, cool camera. It's all slow-mo.
Yeah.
So he gave me that footage. So I had these two kind of like assets or like collection of assets, and I was like, yo, let me make a little intro for us. Like, this is going to be cool, like next level vibes. And before that, we just had like a bumper and like this other music that we made. It was pretty much all a cappella with some soul stuff at the end, like synth. But we tried to write this script that was like, here's exactly what we'd say we are to a corporate investor.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And
that never works out, does it?
it just felt like shit. Like,
like,
we're
yeah.
not here to fucking lie to you guys.
It's
Like,
wooden. They call that wooden.
it's just strange
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah.
It wasn't even wood. It was steel. It was tin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
wood
totally.
would have been more natural.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, this just has so much more heart than that.
Yeah.
Like, we have people on that like we pretty much like believe in. Like
Yeah.
we're bringing heart and head together in that feeling. So we just take a fucking run at it from our hearts.
Yeah.
And we just nailed it. Like one take. Like
Yeah.
what you hear is what the fuck we had to say about why we're doing this.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so I just like cut them
Yeah,
together.
I even fuck up a little bit
Yeah,
in,
you can-
in it, and
We just kept
we were
it.
like, let's just keep it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
don't do
So
it. Don't
thank you.
do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for affirming our choices.
Oh, it's interesting. It's
Christmas.
really well done, and just like that word authenticity is so. I mean, yeah, it's like try to be authentic. Like try to forget the number 9, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You can't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when it happens, it sometimes it's almost like you have to listen twice, right? Because it's like, actually, this isn't scripted. Like, this is just coming from the heart. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
This is
Yeah.
like when he's just like pure journey. Like, what do we say before we hopped on? It's like, just tell him your journey with it, or tell him your experience with it, or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you.
vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right.
And shout out like Paul, like that guy with the camera, with the slow mo. We just walked around. He was like, just be you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice.
just be you guys. And
Yeah,
like,
it's well done.
That's been cool. It's been just to follow that. And that's been a cool part of, I love lots of the things you're saying too about like learning over time to follow, you know, those little Easter eggs. Cause like we're both going through that. Like Winnie's going through that in a big way. And you
It
gotta
feels so
choose-
counterintuitive sometimes.
Yeah.
You
To
know,
be- to
like,
follow.
or at least everything I've lived up to this point has made me now believe that it's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So I think I'm kind of just like trying to get back to that baseline, and then the next step is trusting it.
Yeah.
Because I can recognize it, you know? I'm like, I get this. Like, this is totally no problem. I'm not going to freak out about it, anything like that. But also, like, where's the money going to come
Yeah.
from?
Pretty much, like when you're in a gig economy,
You know,
like you either have to have
sometimes.
proactive activity for acquisition or have some sort of sales funnel or
Yeah,
just
I
like
know.
bank on luck and reputation. And most times, if God is with you, luck and reputation, you
It's
will
been
be okay.
working out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been working
It'll
out.
continue to work out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's so my
I like the
grandmother
butterflies.
grandmother when she passed away, I was ordained to read her favorite poem, right? And it was like Robert Frost, the path, the two path thing, whatever. What is it like? What's the name? I don't know. Anyways, you know the one,
but
right?
I know. Yeah.
The path less traveled.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The road less traveled.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm an ideas guy, so I get the idea, but
The
I don't know
gist.
the words, right?
Yeah.
So the road less traveled. Anyways, I then did some research on what the poem meant. I thought it was pretty obvious. You take the path less traveled, and that's better because it's cooler because other people aren't doing it, right? Like that's what a lot of North Americans look at as the interpretation of that poem.
Yes.
Not true. It's actually, no matter what path you go down, things are going to work out okay.
Oh.
Right?
There you go.
So that I was like, oh, that's way deeper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so funny that as you know, North Americans, we're always like, you got to do something different,
Totally.
like whatever. But it's like, no, you know what? There are forks in the road for sure, but it's gonna continue to work out, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because like we're
Absolutely.
the cosmic multi-trillion-dollar lottery, like we've won it, right?
Yeah, we have.
Like we're here,
Yeah.
which is like that's kind of all you need.
We're getting
right?
the life. That's
You know?
right.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah,
I know, it's
I
such
had-
a blessing. Like, look down at your hands right now.
Yeah.
Like, you're in this bitch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It will continue to work out, and you'll continue to learn the things that you need to learn, and like, or take the wins that you deserve to win. It's
Yeah.
such a
So how
beautiful
long
thing.
have you been thinking this way now?
I don't know. Like
Because if you
kind of
weren't-
all my life.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
you did have that sort of, you were always following those Easter eggs. It's not something that,
Yeah, I've always kind of been a bit of a philosopher. Like
Yeah.
as a kid, even I
Yeah.
was always thinking about things a little differently.
I find that so interesting. I'm like, do you think, where would you have got that from?
Yeah, I'd say like my upbringing, dad, mom, grandma.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were in
grandpa.
it.
Yeah, just
What do they do?
intelligent people, caring. Grew up in a really beautiful, safe community. You know where Elora is? Have you guys ever been to Elora? Okay, you got to go. Okay, it's
where is
about
it?
like an hour and a half from here, right?
Oh, really?
Near Guelph. Do you know Guelph?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Guelph is the big city near Elora. Elora is this beautiful little village in the middle of, a farming community, right? Except within this village, there's a gorge, a canyon that goes through it, right? So it's like hiking, jumping off the cliffs, body surfing, tubing. It's now a really popular tourist destination.
Oh shit,
Yeah, for Torontonians, right?
that's cool.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I grew
man,
up in
we
this
gotta go.
idyllic place, right? I really seriously idyllic place.
Wow.
My dad commuted to Toronto to give us a good life, so he slogged. And
What did he do, if you don't mind me asking?
he was working for National Grocers, which is kind of a branch of Loblaws.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, for a good chunk of his life.
Oh, wow.
So he was a director at Loblaws.
Oh, cool.
So that gave me actually, some experience with the grocery industry as well.
Oh, wow.
So that comes back to the cannabis thing. So all this category managers and supply chain management, all that stuff. I have experience of that going way, way back. Right.
The little blessings that come through from what you learn.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
So it was like, similar to the philosophers in Athens, right? Philosophers in Athens had people to do all their work.
Yeah, they
Slaves,
had time. They had time to
and
think.
they had no street lights. They had looking up at these heavens every night, right? They can afford to wax philosophical and, think more broadly about life because they weren't getting
weren't
hunted
in
down
survival
by
mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
so really, really privileged to have grown up in such an idyllic environment. Right?
Amazing awareness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to acknowledge that.
Oh God, yeah, really lucky. So
Huge.
yeah.
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you landed in a good timeline.
Yeah. 28 philosophy courses doesn't hurt either after,
Of course.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like you cognitively inspected all the options and landed on a nice space for yourself.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful way to do it. Check out all the religions. Check out all the history angles, because they're all just recounts, perspectives.
Yeah, totally.
Right? It's all like stories. And I've had deep observations with humans and seeing what it takes to convince people.
What? Okay.
That's a beautiful thing. That if history is really worth anything studying, it's how to convince people, and whether that's in the boardroom as a marketing pitch, or convincing people widespread to act a certain way, vote, get the jab, get a job, get the conformity. Like, I'm just saying, over time, the way that we've been manipulated, communicated to. That's the most fascinating shit.
Yeah, that's your thing.
That's what I like. From a philosophical perspective, I think that's what I'm currently exploring.
Yeah.
And that's just that. How do you change people's minds, or
can you change people's minds?
Well, I think that like through say referrals, in business, like so much more powerful clients come from referrals, because as the ambassador, they're doing all the sales for you.
Yeah.
Because they've had experiences for you, they've felt fulfilled, they know you're on the right track, and they think they're doing their friend a favor by telling them about you.
Yeah.
So it's like, however you position people to eat, where to buy their food. Like Loblaws is interesting. It's like grocery stores. Like, that is marketing genius.
Yeah.
Like, there's the way that they organize their produce. Like that's so wild. Have you collected anything in your philosophy studies on that? I want to ask, because I'm still figuring it out. Like, I'm no means a master.
Yeah, one thing that blew me away. I mean, like, way beyond my pay grade. Like, I worked in Loblaws, grocery, whatever, when I was in my 20s, and it was like really smart people. Like, my dad was a very smart guy. My grandpa too, just really intelligent, mathematically brilliant people. Like, was logistics. Okay, like, you talk about logistics in cannabis, but it's like, imagine logistics in, that lettuce is going to go bad.
Dude, in 3 days.
So
sometimes.
At times when the pre-internet, right? Pre-digital even,
Like
right?
what?
It was paper. Like,
Yeah.
they were using
Flyers,
paper.
The flyers.
Yeah. But they were using paper to actually, all the transactions were done with invoices. Like, when I was working there, it was like, Coca-Cola is like, we've delivered this. This is how much they tear it off, and there's like the triplicate sheet or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was like, there was no
Yeah.
There was no digital.
Oh,
Like,
that paper.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking like all, like, it's incredible.
Why bother?
Yeah.
That's with me. With a bit like, just don't even write it down. Just
Yeah,
take it,
that's-
take the money on the
totally.
phone.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's incredible, because like their organization skills must have been nuts.
Oh, yeah,
Like, you
so
can find
smart.
anything in an email now. You don't even
I
need to
know.
save shit. You
Oh,
just go back and find it.
Yeah.
To build those systems,
Yeah.
to
Like,
mentally
that's
build those
so-
organization
yeah.
systems.
Whew.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a new level. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
We're-
generation doesn't know anything about that.
We're becoming cyborgs, right? Like, they say,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
this supercomputer is becoming an extension of us. Like, we're becoming that.
Well,
in a way.
we just posted something about Elon Musk's Neuralink that it has been, he like pushed it to is it the FDA or someone who makes those decisions, and if it gets approved, like, they could start implanting chips in people as early as like mid June.
No
year.
Yeah,
way.
like this year. Like, it is actually happening.
Are you guys like, what do you think of Elon Musk these days, or what's your, is this one that's like a little hot topic or hot button?
So here's my thing. Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Great question.
I think that
we're at a cultural moment where he can't but help, but
yeah, I think that I'm happy that people like Elon Musk exist.
yeah.
That's what I think I'd like to say about that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
I fucking love him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Giving her.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think it's wonderful that he exists.
Yeah.
Like, what a trip.
Dude, what a move. He fucking got Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, brilliant.
I wish. Here's the
And
thing.
Tesla, like he just is a disruptor. I'm just down with fucking up the status quo and shaking the structure of things.
So so I'm the same way in the sense of saying, look, like he's brave and to lead all these things in that way, like PayPal even, right?
That's
Yeah.
that's
Like,
what I
like-
mean. Like as PayPal, like that was so helpful as an artist. Like
Yeah, but this we kind of have this fetishism for the sole founder, leader, figurehead. You know what I mean? And it's like my understanding of history is that that's never the case. Like my understanding of history is that innovations always happen through, a confluence of many people's ideas coming to the fore. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
the
And it's
Steve
like,
Wozniak, not the Steve Jobs.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
the real worker, the engineer behind it.
yeah, and the teams of people and influences, and like it's like, what is it that makes us think that this always has to be individualistic? It always has to be about one person.
For
or
sure,
whatever,
he's just a
you
symbol.
know?
Yeah.
He's just a symbol.
Yeah.
Like his name as a thing is a symbol, but for sure
And
you're right.
but I also think there is an aspect that the brand, whatever it is that we're currently talking about, I don't know if it would become what it has without those symbols. Like there is kind of a symbiotic relationship that happens between the workers who do the work and the person who represents it.
Yeah.
Because it can't be everyone, at
Yeah.
that front.
Yeah.
Just
fair
right
enough.
now-
You need some.
But I agree with you about
Object that you
the
can look
the fetishizing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever good. I don't think we should ever do that with anyone.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a reference point. They're just like, it's like saying Napoleon Hill, but it's like saying Lao Tzu,
Which one's Napoleon Hill?
Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or and
yeah.
a couple other awesome books.
Yeah. He's the one that's like quantum.
Yeah.
Quantum theory. You think, and that which you think can help you become those things that you're thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He essentially
Yeah.
scientifically, groundedly explains the law of attraction.
Yeah.
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 Like through like thought process and like repetition, affirmation, confirmation thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Nice.
Which is where I'm like, or maybe it's just a simulation.
Well, in which point it wouldn't matter because the applicable function of that thinking still does its job.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I think it is. This is most definitely a flesh simulation.
Yeah, it feels like that sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like there's an expression. Again, back to the Easter egg thing. It's like remembering the future, right?
Remember the future.
It's like I think I almost can remember that this is going to happen. Like it's almost like it's so obvious that I have to go that way.
It's a deep
Oh
knowing.
my
You
God!
know what I mean?
What a great! I've never understood it that way.
What a great way to say that.
Yeah.
But if time's a continuum, right? Like
Yeah.
then
You
remember the past, but maybe you're remembering a future.
Yeah.
Alternate universes. Blah,
Humble
blah, blah.
has that on his hand.
Oh, what's
tattooed.
remember the future?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah.
such a beautiful
Yeah.
concept. I
You know some
agree.
really neat people. There's some really great people that have appeared on your podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
Really
we've
insightful.
had such great guests.
I'm very grateful for the friends that we've made along the way, yourself included.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. You too, guys.
It's beautiful. I
There
like
was
to
there was a
collect them.
woman. Who was the woman who had a history of teaching? She went from teaching to becoming a store owner. I think. Christiana.
Yeah.
And then she was teaching kids who are nonverbal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like just amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing nurturing.
Yeah.
That's at Sticky Nugs right here.
Okay.
And it's just up the block, and
Yeah.
she's the owner's daughter, and she's the GM of the store.
Yeah.
And she's just a great person, just a
Oh,
sweetheart.
that you hear about that, and it's like angels among us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just,
The cannabis industry is cool. You're
there's
right.
some amazing people, really
I
fascinating
know.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're really lucky that we get to all kind of play together
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all like be like kind of shaping this thing as we move and just like finding these new perspectives.
Yeah, a lot of creativity, a lot of curiosity too, right?
Yeah.
Openness, again, that vulnerability thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Do you have any like daily non-negotiable like routines
Like, do
or
you meditate
anything
in
that
the
you
morning?
do?
waking up, getting the kids to school by 8 a.m. So
Yeah.
honestly, family, kids, right? Like
Yeah.
that's actually a major part of my philosophical sort of value system is really just around these little mini universes, right?
Wow.
These mini sort of silos of eternity that are like amongst us, right? Like these moments that we can have are just like just random example, okay?
Yeah.
Totally random, weird example. It's get back to that Easter egg, the world is a simulation thing, right?
Yeah.
Driving my daughter Sophia yesterday, in a minivan, right? And in that minivan, there's a pouch behind. There's the seat,
Yeah.
and in the back, there's a pouch behind me, in front of her, right?
Yeah.
And we're pulling out after having dropped off some friends, and she out of nowhere is like, do you believe in Santa existing? This was this morning, actually. Yeah, this was this morning.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this was, and last night we watched Big Fish. You know the show Big Fish?
No,
Do you remember that?
I've seen it, but I haven't.
Is it a
I
movie?
know of it, but
Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the cover.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen
so
I
it.
don't think
good.
I've watched it.
Yeah,
I've heard good things about it. Though.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's you talk about storytelling.
Yeah.
It literally is about the value of storytelling. It's the value of, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, kind of thing.
Oh.
Right? And it's amazing. Like, so we watched that last night and
That's
had a
such
really
a
good
good
time.
saying.
Yeah, and it's like so she's asking me this morning, and I think it's kind of related. She's like, Santa, because she's like almost 10 now, and I was like, I don't know. Yeah, yeah. She's like, did you believe in Santa when you were a teenager? And I was like, yeah, I think I did. It's like, I think I did. Because believing in something like that's kind of a choice that you can sort of go with, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about the truth, but it can be about a story and a narrative.
So she knows Santa's real, right?
Oh yeah, totally, 100%, 100%. So we're talking about this, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like what you project and what you believe in and whatever kind of thing. And she's like, Dad, and what? She's super excited. I'm like, I found a $10 bill in the pouch thing, right? Right? I was like, she shows it to me. I'm like, yeah, you see, there's like that thing where you have conversations about stuff about believing and having faith and good things coming to you, and then right at that moment, like, good things happen. And she's like, yeah, I
You
get this
affirmed
now.
it.
Yeah.
You affirmed it.
Whoa.
You
Yeah.
affirmed it by
Yeah.
her observation of the
Yeah.
magic.
Nice.
Yo.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, so-
very good. Another
That's
human
exciting.
knows. Another
Yeah.
human believes.
From
Yeah.
a young age too.
Oh yeah,
Wowza.
she's incredible.
Congratulations. Not surprised, honestly, with your guidance.
So the point being, this whole kid value thing is like, yeah, I really think like kids are almost like these moments of eternity. There's a poem, "Kiss the Joy as it flies,"
Huh.
and you'll forever live in eternity sunrise, William Blake or something, right?
Beautiful.
And the point being, like, kiss the joy as it flies, because it's fleeting, right? Like
Ugh.
that eternity is like, you'll experience these moments of eternity, right? Like, when a kid holds your little finger walking across the parking lot, right? Like that moment where they grab it, right? It's like whoa, that's only there for that long until they're like not holding your hand anymore, right?
Whoa.
Right?
Very
and those
deep.
little moments, right? Like that's what life is about for me. Like these singular moments of just like, you're peering into something that's fleeting, and it's
gorgeous.
amazing, and it's human, and it's like all these little things coming together,
That is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
And that's it. And we all experience that, right?
That is so beautiful, man.
Or we don't, or we experience them, but we're not conscious of them, and we're just kind of constantly,
Yeah.
I know
going through
that's
like the machine.
what's that one saying about life is what's happening while you're busy making plans?
Yeah,
Something
totally,
like that,
totally.
Totally, man. You gotta fall in those little moments.
Yeah, totally.
That are life. Oh, that just almost made me cry. The
I
little
know,
finger
me
on the
too.
hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. So
Oh,
it's a
hand
good,
on the
it's a
finger.
good example, right?
That's
Because you can remember it
beautiful.
from the perspective of like reaching up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when did you stop reaching up, right?
Fuck.
Right?
What a trip.
Yeah.
Such a trip.
That must be a cool, interesting time to observe your daughter. She's almost 10, you said?
Yeah,
10 is
amazing.
unique because that's right
Amazing.
between like baby to starting to formulate, right?
Oh,
Like,
she's
from a
like
kid to
so
a-
intelligent.
Yeah,
Like,
she's probably
they're all brilliant. Like, remember, like, you got to go back we didn't have a lot of power when we were 10 or 15. Like we weren't able to exercise our agency in the world, but we were smart.
Yeah.
Like we knew stuff, and we could
Yeah.
tell when people were lying, and
Yeah.
that's what it's about. It's these people who are just like really brilliant. They're not like kids, yes, but like they're my
Just
mentors.
Smart being.
Oh, yeah.
my
Yeah.
God.
Well, as age goes on, as we get further into life and deal with all these existential problems, become more jaded.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're closer to source.
They're
Yeah.
Ugh.
They're closer to what's the word?
Uninhibited. Yeah.
Uninhibited, unpoisoned.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Fuck.
Like uninfluenced.
Yeah, uninfluenced.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just like come from a place of their own. Like everything comes up out of them, and it looks godlike.
Yeah, it
It
is.
really does.
Yeah, we can learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
I agree. Look to learn from the kids.
And little dogs too.
I know.
I know.
Ralph knows.
Oh my goodness.
We
he's
follow his
so
bliss
cute.
with him.
Ah,
often.
do you have animals?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've
We
got
have a
two.
dog.
We've got a cockapoo named Billy.
Oh.
A cockapoo
Billy.
named Billy.
Billy the cockapoo.
love
He's a lap dog, like literally genetically designed to be a lap dog, like just boom,
Really?
right? Yeah,
Wow.
amazing. And then Sonny the poodle, like
Sonny and Billy.
brilliant,
That's
smart,
cute.
So cute.
horrible in so many ways, but
As
really, you
the-
got to respect Sonny because she's so smart, right? So yeah,
Oh yeah. What is Sonny?
There's a
again?
poodle.
just a poodle, regular.
Poodle.
It's a
Poodles are-
Hawaiian poodle, like medium. Yeah.
But
Oh,
I think
man, they're
poodles are
smart.
like the smartest dog in the world,
I-
or close to
They're
one of
into
them.
top 5 for sure.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
in the top.
Yeah, like we
top 3, I
wanted to
think.
stop her from moving around the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So we put this invisible fence out, right? Which is like
A
an
shock fence?
Yeah, it's not. It's not much of a shocky
Yeah.
thing. It's not that bad.
No, totally.
I tried it. And it was-
Yeah, I tried the shock
Yeah.
collar.
Yeah.
It's not-
Anyways, so we put it on her because she was like running out into the road, like you're gonna get killed by a bus, right? So we don't want you to die.
Fuck yeah.
So it was like preventative, and as soon as we put it on her, like our other dog Billy was like, he put it on him, and then he would walk to a certain point, have a little shock, come back, and be like, I'm not going there anymore. Sonny was like, when I have the collar on, and I cross that point, I get shocked. So this collar is causing me to get shocked.
Oh.
Okay. So we then put the
Oh.
collar on, and she's like, I'm not going outside now.
That's
And we're like, no, you have to go outside. She's like, I'm not going outside. I'm going to pee in the house. Right?
Yeah.
This
She's
is
like-
who I was as a kid.
She's like,
I
so
am
smart.
Sonny as a kid.
Yeah.
Be like, oh no, fuck you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, totally.
I'm now your problem.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
I love Sonny.
Yeah.
Shout out Sonny.
My wife loves Sonny too, but I like Billy.
That's nice. I like Billy too. Oh, that's so
Sonny is
funny.
an inconvenient dog.
Inconvenience. And
Aren't
that's-
they just?
that's-
Yeah,
If you
they're
wouldn't put
clever.
That, yeah, if you wouldn't put that collar on, it wouldn't be.
Hey, take the collar off and you'll be fine. Your house will be completely protected. No problem.
That's true. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Oh,
Well,
this
shout
has
out
been
dogs.
So
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, it's great.
Your
Yeah, it's
energy
really
is
nice to talk
great.
to you guys.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
too.
so fun. And we always end with a book reading,
reading.
and you brought us one.
Yeah.
On the topic of the Tao, usually, this portion of the show is called Do the Tao. We usually
Yeah.
read from Tao Te Ching, but you brought this really cool.
Oh, there's so
today.
many.
Thank you,
I can pop one open if you want.
Well, we're gonna get you to choose a number.
Yeah, this
And
is.
Oh, any number.
Yeah,
That's
and
wild.
usually when we pull something, it's very appropriate and it
Okay.
has synchronicities to it.
Okay.
So, if I can get you, please, to choose a number between 3 and 181.
Okay. 38.
Oh. 38. That equals 11.
Is that good? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah, that's as soon as it came to my
Okay,
mind.
okay.
Okay. What is the Tao? Harmony with the Tao is not something commanded, nor something which is one's duty, nor something demanded by moral law, nor something sought for some future reward, but is something which is its own reward in itself, a state of spiritual tranquility. In this respect, it does resemble the Judeo-Christian notion of communion. Another thing, it would seem sort of odd to the Taoist to speak of surrendering one's will to the Tao. In the first place, it doesn't sound quite right to say that the Tao has its own will. The Tao is certainly not willful, and I think the Taoists would tend to regard things having their own will as somehow willful. But let that pass. At any rate, the idea of surrendering one's will to the Tao would seem inappropriate, since an individual's so-called will is but a part of the Tao.
Whoa.
It's not that the Taoist denies free will, nor would he affirm it, for he would tend to regard the whole free will determinism controversy as a confusing duality. But this is good. But he would rather say that whatever it is which we call free will is but part of the activities of the Tao. Goethe expressed a similar sentiment when he said that in trying to oppose nature, we are only acting according to the laws of nature. Similarly, Suzuki has said that Western man thinks he is controlling or conquering nature. He does not realize that in so doing, he is only acting according to the laws of nature. I must confess that all my life I have reacted with the utmost horror to the idea of obedience to God, and even more so to surrendering one's will to God. Some Christians would tell me that I find this idea so horrifying because of my own pride, disobedience, egotism, and self-will. But is this really so? I could see some merit in the argument that if I objected to only myself surrendering my will to God, but did not mind other people surrendering their wills to God. But I think that one who fully realized the shattering impact of this statement would attain a sort of satori. This is not the case. I hate the idea of anyone surrendering his will to God. Indeed, I am repelled by any situation in which one sentient being surrenders his will to another sentient being. I just cannot accept situations in which one commands and the other obeys.
Sonny.
And like so much we talked about convincing people.
Yeah. Yeah. Command, that whole command obey thing. Yeah, for sure. Convincing people. It's more like there's people, and then you provide them value. Like it's them, right? Like provide them value. Provide them value. Like like that. It's the sun and the wind, right? They have the bet. You know that one. The sun and the wind are like, let's get that guy's coat off, right? And the wind comes out and blows and blows and blows, and the more he blows, the more he holds it, right?
When it becomes too hot,
and then the sun's like, oh, let me give it a shot. Boom. And then the guy's like, oh, it's beautiful out. Takes the coat off, right? That's how you should just comport yourself to people. It's not even selling, right? It's like giving.
That is just a business. That's a 3-year business course in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You want to know how to provide value in the world. That is
like
beautiful.
Give good stuff to people that want.
And you
stuff.
do give good stuff. You've been creating. We salute you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Well, they do.
Much love.
We do. The Vortex people. They're really good. It's hard
shout
to
out
do.
everyone at Vortex. Shout out the great people. I'm about to eat this salmon.
Nice.
It's been so nice
Brad,
chatting with you.
thank you so much for coming on the show. Where should we find you?
Yeah, where can we find you?
If you want to be found.
If you want to be found.
I'm right here.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, so.
Or if you want to plug anything other than you to be found.
Any closing
just like
comments?
I'm in like LinkedIn, right? I'm pretty easy to find.
Okay.
Like Brad Stewart,
Okay,
right?
good.
On Instagram, it's like Brad with 2 underscores. Sorry, Stewart.
Perfect.
And then on Twitter, it's just Brad Stewart.
Is that which Stewart is that?
We'll put
STEW.
EW.
Yeah, as my dad used to say, the Adam and Eve spelling.
Nice.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Good vibes. Subscribe. Share this with a friend. Join our Patreon. Be kind to your neighbor. Send nudes to the people you love. that are okay with it.
Yeah, it has to be consensual.
Yeah, for sure. Any closing comments?
No, find us on Patreon. Follow us on Discipline Stoners at Instagram. I think those were supposed to be the other way around, but
Okay, love you. Bye.
bye.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
Discipline stoners. What's your discipline? You a stoner? That's cool. So are we.
I'm high a lot. It's weird to finally say that with pride. I'm high a lot. Being high has helped me with my anxiety. It's helped my social skills. Well, it's helped me feel okay about my shitty social skills. It doesn't make my social skills better, but it sure does make sitting in that awkward moment in a social interaction a lot more bearable. You know, that moment where no one in the group has anything left to say, and you desperately want to yell at all of them, just say something. Being high makes that hilarious and not torture.
Yo, it's Ellevan from Anger Town. These plants just helped me chill out. Found focus, found confidence. All of a sudden I was productive, less protective, more progressive. Yeah, we talk about stuff like I'm a next sommelier, but this is about a medicine, baby. We wish everyone a mindful life. It's been a helpful tool for us. Whatever the route to peace, it's each individual's journey. And the more we communicate, maybe we can all help each other out. Love and light. Welcome to Discipline Stoners Podcast with your host Ellevan,
And my name is Winnie.
and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And that's Ralph.